Hi, my name is Brenda and we are Team 5 and this is our video talking about the immigration and climate change and international law. International law studies the behavior of states. Through our history, states have met in order to create and establish agreements. These agreements are characterized because they establish the obligations that the states that sign this treaty, this pact, needs to follow, because it's their obligation. Climate change and migrations are topics that could be seen as different, but actually they are related. Nowadays, there are thousands of migrants that take this decision because they and their territory are suffering the consequences of climate change. In international law, we can find different agreements. Some of them talk about specifically human rights, in which migration is involucrated. If we talk about migration, we can mention also climate change.
There are important international treaties that talk about the relation between the climate change and the migration of people. And the most important are the Global Compact of Migration, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the International Covenant of Civil and Political Rights. But there are other treaties that talk about specific actions against these problems. These ones are the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change in its Article 3. It focuses on helping the vulnerable countries that are affected by the effects of the climate change. And now the Paris Agreement in its Article 7 talks about the importance of adaptation, which is a key component of and makes a contribution to the long-term global response to climate change to protect all kinds of life. The next one is the Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction, which these encourage the resilience of communities against climate change by creating policies and programs that help people whenever there's a disaster. The 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development talks about two important characteristics, which are the sustainable cities and communities and the climate action. Finally, the New Urban Agenda talks about the full respect of rights of refugees, migrants and internally displaced persons regardless their migration status.
In a national level, we have the Mexican Constitution with the Article 11, the regulation of the immigration law with the Article 1, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, and 15. These are a very important document for the migration in general. The law of refugees, complementary protection, and political asylum with the Article 3, 13, 15, and 19. The general law of climate change with the Article 2, 3, and 33. This guarantees the right to a healthy environment for every people. The general law on sustainable forest development with the Article 29, and the most important for us the general law of ecological balance and environmental protection with the Article 1, that is the right of every person to live in a healthy environment for their development, healthy and well-being.
We also have some national programs. The first one is the Vela Group program, which is actually concentrated in the guarantee of the human rights of the migrants independently from the migrant situations. And we also have the National Human Rights Program, which actually consolidates the state's policy of the human rights, so it is based on the international standards and recommendations.
Well, as my teammates mentioned previously, it's very important to know about the local and international laws when we are talking about climate change. But also, in order to understand climate change refugees, it's fundamental to understand these laws. There are some agreements like the Paris Agreement and the Kyoto Protocol that their main objective is to give tools to the society to fight the consequences of climate change, like global warming, fires, droughts, etc. So, as a climate change refugee, there is not a legal framework that protects them. That's why they need to be protected with their human rights. So, if you are a climate change refugee, you have to be protected and to look for your rights in the laws with the Declaration of Human Rights. Thanks.